Hello students, welcome for today's session. In today's session, we are going to study how to create a hoverable drop-down. So what do you mean by a drop-down? A drop-down is nothing but if you open any website, what do you find? You find headers, right? The website is going to have headers, and when you click on the particular tab, you are going to get a menu which appears below. So we are now going to create a hoverable drop down. What do you mean by hoverable? When you place the mouse cursor on the particular element, that is called as hover. Alright, we'll see the example, then you will understand. To start with, HTML, notepad, doc type, I am specifying it as HTML. Start with the root element HTML. Then start with the head tag. I'm going to create a style element. In the style element, I'm going to create drop down. So I'm going to write drop down, and I have to specify the different attributes for the style sheet what I have written. So I am going to write position as absolute, okay, and then display inline block. Okay, so these are the two CSS attributes that I have included. Position I have set it to absolute, and display as inline block, that is you will get a proper display. Okay, then I'm going to give the style sheet for the content of the drop down. So that is drop down content, because drop down is going to be different, and the content of the drop down I want to design it in a different manner. So display I'm going to give it as none, so nothing is going to be displayed. Position I'm going to give it absolute. Background color, okay, number I'm giving in terms of number. I'm going to give the background color in terms of number. So you can give any background color of your choice. Alright, this is just I have given for one example. You can give any other color of your choice. Then I'm going to specify the width. Write it as 160 pixels. Okay, that is the minimum width of the content of the drop down should be 160 pixels. Now I want some form of shadow also to appear, so I'm going to use the box shadow property. And how do I want to create the box shadow? 0 pixels. I need to specify the pixels, right? 0 pixels, 8 pixels, 16 pixels, again 0 pixels. Then I want to specify the color RGBA. I have to specify the color coordinates. R stands for red, G stands for green, B stands for blue. And like this we are going to specify the colors. So I'm going to write 0, 0, 0, 0 and then 2. So what is this going to do? It is going to create a box shadow. I'm going to specify the padding. The padding is 12 pixels and 16 pixels. So this is the padding what I have specified. And I am also going to give the stacking effect. So I'm going to give the Z index as 1. So the Z index property is used so that you can give a stacking effect. Do you know what do you mean by stacking effect? When two elements are kept on one above the other, what do we say? That we say that the elements are stacked. So this Z index property when set, it is going to help you to give the feel that the elements are stacked. Alright, so what I have done till now, I have created the drop down style sheet for the drop down and as well as for the content of the drop down. Okay. Now I want to create the event, that is when I hover on the drop down, I should be able to see. I want to create a hoverable drop down, right? So drop down, hover property, this property I am going to use, dot drop down content. What should happen when I hover on the drop down? Okay, So display, I'm going to set it to block, that is visible. If we want a display to be hidden, we have to set it as display none. If we want a display to be visible, then we have to set it as display block. Alright. Then I'm going to close the style property. Now coming to the body part of the program. Body, create one heading which says Hoverable Dropdown. Okay, one heading I have created which says Hoverable Dropdown. You need to just hover and then you will find the drop down. So what you have to do, I'm going to write that in the paragraph element. So I write, move the mouse over the text below to open the drop down content. So what I'm telling them, you need to move the text, okay, hover the mouse cursor over the text so that you can view the content of your drop down. Then I'm going to use the divider. So I'm going to give the class as drop down, because that is how I have used the selector in my style sheet. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, then I'm going to use the span tag and I write mouse over me. Close the span tag. I'm again going to use the division class. 2 we have created, no? So for drop down content, what I'm going to do, create one paragraph which says hello world. Okay, and then I'm going to close the division tag. Last, I'm going to close the body followed by HTML tag. So what we have done, we have created a hoverable drop down. I'm going to click on save. I'm going to give the file name as hoverable dropdown.html. Okay, remember you have to always save it with extension .html, and then I click on save. Now I will minimize it. I'm going to find my file over here and I click over here and I say Google Chrome. Open with Google Chrome. Okay, so what do you observe? You have a heading which says hoverable drop down, and then move the mouse over the text below to open the drop down content. So over the text mouse over me, you need to hover your mouse cursor. Once you hover your cursor over the text mouse over me, you will be able to find the drop down. See, this is like a drop down that is created. This is initial, you can check it once again. Initially I have not hovered the mouse cursor near the text. Okay, now when I hover the mouse cursor over the text, I am going to get some text below. See, so this you can use for creating your drop down. If you open any website, you have multiple tabs, like this tab you will have, right? So what happens, sometimes you would require a drop down. So all these tools are necessary when you are building website. These small things you need to take care of: how to build the how to draw the drop down, how to create the navigation bar. Okay, now here you have only one drop down, that is hello world. Now if I want to modify it, I'm going to do like this. H2 I'm going to write, and I'll write welcome to the world of programming. Okay, so what I have done, I have included one more content. When I click on refresh, I have saved and clicked on refresh. And what happens, hello world is also displayed, and also welcome to the world of programming is being displayed. Now if I still want to increase the content, to come here and I am going to write it as bold italics web technology. Okay. So do you find web technology? It is written in italics. So this is how you can create a hoverable mouse. When I move the cursor away, nothing is going to be displayed. But when I move the cursor near the text, the content of the drop down is displayed. Alright. So we'll continue the next session. Thank you, students.